quarterback. And Tony, of course, said that there is no way that this team should ever field a freshman quarterback as its starter. And I'm not debating that. Steve has some thoughts on Aon Noland as well.
Yes. Well, you think about Aon Noland coming in, and Ohio State's had freshmen who have started at quarterback. Terrell Pryor back in 2008, I think was the year. And then Braxton Miller in 2011, the fickle year, as we like to say in these parts, the year that, it's kind of like when Ohio State plays an SEC team in a bowl game like Arkansas or Missouri, the rank and file SEC teams just say, oh, that didn't count. Well, that 2011 fickle year is the one that didn't count for Ohio State. But neither of them started the first 2 or 3 games of those seasons, which is kind of indicative that it's hard for a head coach to turn over the reins completely to a true freshman. But it will be interesting if he comes in and knocks everybody's socks off this spring, that he would be the guy. What I wanted to share was what Coach Day had to say about Aon Noland. I had it all queued up here. Let's just see. He said he is somebody who is special in a lot of different ways, the way he conducts himself and the way he handles himself. He has a very high end. He's very athletic, and he's going to be the leader of this team. That's very telling. Aon Noland is ranked number 36 overall nationally in the composite. So this is one of the higher rated quarterbacks with Miller, with Pryor, with some of the other guys that they've brought in over the years. So to me, it's exciting to see what happens with him. His statistics, I asked Steve Wiltfong, I said, because I do a story talking to our experts about the class, and I said, why did he have 4,000 yards and 55 touchdowns last year and it fell off dramatically this year? He's like, well, some of that had to do with the supporting cast around him. Jelani Thurman in particular, a tight end, is now at Ohio State, was with him as a junior, the year before. And, you just have to chalk things up. I mean, it's a different year. It's an entirely different team, and you just don't know what happened. He said, I'm going to take my chances with a guy who I have seen with my own 2 eyes throw for over 4,000 yards and 55 touchdowns and a high percentage the year before, and not really worry too much that maybe he didn't meet those very high benchmarks in his senior year. And, I watched him at spring practice for Ohio State last year. He came in, and I was watching the Buckeyes, and he's standing right there in the huddle. The players are 5 yards off the ball. He is right down front and central, studying everything and watching it like a hawk. So that's kind of what I like to see out of a quarterback, a guy who is a student of the game. He's not over there, screwing around, with the guys who don't play. He is right there studying what Ohio State's doing. And so I think he's going to come in and shake some things up this spring.
Yeah, not only the loss of Jelani Thurman, but they were a little bit more run-based with Justice Savage, the running back who flipped from Indiana to Jacksonville State. So big win for Rich Rod there, landing Justice Savage, a running back that is very intriguing. People, Ohio State fans are like, oh, maybe they should take a look at him. Well, I don't know. I don't know if it would translate there, but I think at Jacksonville State, he'll be able to rip it up. But, I agree with what Wiltfong told Steve there, because the supporting cast certainly was not quite as strong this year at Langston Hughes as it was the year that they won the state title.
Just looking at the comment there from Kevin Barlow about Ohio State having 0 rushing touchdowns from its starting quarterback over the past 3 seasons. Aon Noland, will he run it all? He can run. He's not a runner. He's a thrower. He's a passer. But Ryan Day did talk about his athleticism. And in terms of if a true freshman is going to start at Ohio State, I think that means something has gone wrong with the rest of the room. Now, Aon Noland's going to walk into a room with one career quarterback start, and that'll be Devin Brown in the Cotton Bowl. So if there's ever going to be a year where a freshman is going to win a job, it's going to be the year where there's no established starter and really very little playing time for any of the other guys. And he's enrolling in the winter, and he's going to go through winter workouts and spring practice. And Lincoln Keenholz didn't get into school until last June. So like this will be his first winter, his first spring. So in that way, you're almost on even footing in some form with Aon Noland this coming spring. But I still, like I said, if it happens for Ryan Day, something has gone wrong. When it happened for Jim Tressel is because something went wrong. It was Terrell Pryor got kicked out of college, and so Braxton Miller had to step in when Joe Bosman, who was a baseball player, was now thrust into playing football. And it takes a lot more than just a good, true freshman quarterback to come in. But there's no established starter returning for Ohio State, and very little established playing time, very few snaps. So it's not like anybody has a huge lead on Aon Noland, or it's as small of a lead for a true freshman quarterback at Ohio State as we've seen in some time.
Since it's the holiday season, you brought up Bowserman, and I did indirectly a moment ago. That's the opposite of a wonderful life, because he was on the boat. Everybody died. So yeah, that.
Yeah. So do we think that possibly Ryan Day's approach to this quarterback situation and acquiring a quarterback is going to be impacted at all by how many players come back?
Well, I think if a bunch of players leave, there's more money to offer a starting quarterback in the portal. I think a lot of the money right now is tied up in bringing those guys back. And really, the numbers out there for starting quarterbacks, it's ridiculous. And it's the market needs to – I think we're seeing the fact that some of these starting quarterbacks that are out there, these quarterbacks are asking for $2.5 million. They're still asking for it. Like, hey, why aren't people giving us this money yet? I think if that stuff comes down, then maybe Ohio State goes and tries to get somebody for half of that, because $2 million for a 1-year rental that you're not sure is going to be that much better than what you've got, and the guys you've got, if they start this year, they're going to be better next year, and so you're weighing a bunch of stuff there, and just bringing in somebody new when you don't know how good they're going to be, and they're asking for an outrageous amount of money. And I guess it's only outrageous if they can't get it, and right now they're not getting it. So do you wait for the market to come back to you? And I think maybe they are, but they like guys out there. They like guys out in the portal, but the numbers are out there. Ohio State's not desperate, and there are schools that may be desperate, but they're not so desperate right now that they're giving Cam Moore $2.5 million.
I mean, I use as an example of going out and getting a portal quarterback, Spencer Sanders, going from Oklahoma State to Ole Miss. He never was able to take the job away from Jackson Dart, and just to add insult to injury, now he's academically ineligible. So he wouldn't be able to play in the bowl game if he wanted to. So, or if Lane Kiffin wanted him to. And I'm not saying that any of the portal quarterbacks out there right now are necessarily, this vis-a-vis, this is going to happen somewhere else, but you are delaying the development of what your room has by bringing somebody else in. You do run the risk of running guys off, and there's just no guarantee that somebody being plopped into a new system is just suddenly going to take to it and put up CJ Stroud type of numbers. So, I've kind of gone back and forth a little bit on this. There was a point where I was like, I really do think Ohio State should after the Kyle McCord departure, maybe they do need to go get a portal quarterback in terms of a frontline guy. Now, I don't know. Because you run the risk if you sit there and you wait until the bowl game and you go through the bowl game and everything else, what's going to be left out there at that point. But, you really just kind of send a bad message of, going out and just getting somebody else. Well, you're all replaceable. We can go and just get somebody. It only costs money at that point for us to go and get somebody else. So I think they're going to have to get a portal quarterback to kind of fill the ranks. I mean, I think the days of having 4 scholarship quarterbacks may be difficult, just based on the sheer mobility that we see of kids through the portal. And now that we've had the injunction to where there's not even a slowdown on second time transfers or anything else, but do you go out and find somebody in the mold of a Chris Chugginoff or a Gunnar Hoke to kind of add to the numbers? Just most recently Tristan Gebbia. I think that's something that you do, and I think that, to Tony's point, that asking price is much lower.